This podcast could potentially have adult language, adult themes, definitely drinking, and possibly the possibility of sexual content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Drinking with Authors, the Literary Briefs edition. I'm your host, Erica Lance. My co-host today is the fantastic Danielle Orsino. And our guest today is October Santerelli. Woo! Woo! Yeah. Woo! My producer stopped adding in the woo part because he's like, you're just too loud. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, let's talk about what we're drinking before we get on with rapid fire. I am finishing up the last of my grapefruit and vodka because I thought I had orange juice. So this is my solution to not being able to have a screwdriver. But I also have a little bit left of my beach plum. There are not plums on beaches. I don't know where they come up with this shit, but it's beach plum La Croix. So it's got a beach scene and a plum on the can. Hashtag weird marketing techniques. And what's really funny is it has a bunch of sharks on it. I can with the plums. Whoever did this, I feel like somebody was drunk the day they were like, you know what we should do? I've got an idea. Let's do beach plums because they're nowhere near each other, and we'll have some yellow and pink sharks. Let's do it. They must have fun there. Okay, Danielle, what are you drinking?
I'm still nursing my chai latte in my Lady Penelope cup.
Lady Penelope. October, what are you drinking?
I just finished my lemon berry mule, so I am drinking water out of this gigantic water bottle.
Aren't
what
those
the hell
best?
is that at the handle? Wait, go back.
It's a pocket water bottle. So there's like a pocket right here for a card, and this holds your cell phone, and it's got a loop for your keys, and it actually has a handle like a purse strap kind of thing. So you
all in one.
Yeah, it's an all-in-one, and I think it's the coolest thing ever.
That is a first. I've never seen anything like that before.
I love that.
It's amazing. Okay, so here we go, rapid fire. What is your favorite book of all time?
Magic's Pawn by Mercedes Lang.
Why?
Because that was a book that saved my life when I was young and came out as gay for the first time. That was one of the first books that I picked up with queer representation, and one of the first ones that told me it was okay.
Very cool. What is your least favorite book? I ask this of everybody, so you can't get that look on your face like, how dare you?
I'm like, oh no.
We all get to throw shade at other people on this show.
Ender's Game. I think that was such an overrated sci-fi book.
Really? So I read that book. I stayed up all night reading it.
I mean, like, yeah, it's a good read. It's got good hooks. But at the same time, if you look at the world building and like the character growth, there is no character growth.
No.
It's like, it's a popcorn book. It's one that you eat because you're there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it's not
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Well, the whole series went in a weird direction to me. A lot of people love that series. I don't need hate mail. I liked Ender's Game. Like, liked that book. So, what about a book to movie or TV show where you think they did a really good job with it?
The Series of Unfortunate Events. That one was so good. The TV series, not the movie. The movie was really bad. I think that is the answer for both my favorite and least favorite. Because I loved those books when I was growing up. I'm a little bit of a schadenfreudist.
Yeah, no, Neil Patrick Harris, kind of amazed.
He was great.
Yeah, that one was really good. I also really liked the interpretation of His Dark Materials on HBO. That one came out really good.
You know, it was a really good one that I saw the other day. But I guess I can't say this. I haven't read the book, but I thought the show was brilliant. It's 9 Perfect Strangers. And from what I understand, it's very close to the book. So now I want to read the book after watching 9 Perfect. Of course, they cast it with like the most brilliant cast, so that helps dramatically too. But 9 Perfect Strangers, weird things. Okay, Danielle, questions?
Do you like audiobooks?
No, I have auditory processing issues.
Not your thing.
Yeah, I have to read the book. I have to see the words. I have to have subtitles on the television too. Like I can't process sound without words as well. It's a mild form of synesthesia. Like I subtitle everything already.
Would you ever do audiobooks for your books, or no?
I would love to have them available as audiobooks for
Okay.
accessibility reasons, but I'm not going to ever listen to them as audiobooks.
Okay, that's very fair.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, do you believe in the paranormal?
Yes,
Do you believe in ghosts?
absolutely.
Have you had a paranormal experience?
Oh, plenty of them. I went to college.
We need a fun one.
Okay. I went to college at a university called Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois, and it is one of the oldest universities in the United States. And there is like the old main building has stone steps where the stone has been worn away into a big dip, like it's a couple 100 years old. And the offices of the art professors are in the jail, the historic jail. And so I was there meeting with my art history professor about a print that I had to get permission signed out from the library to take because it was like a woodblock print from 400 million years ago. And I'm walking down the steps on my way out of there when my cell phone starts going off and I don't recognize the number. So I'm like, hello? And then you hear, you've got a call from, hello, the Knox County Jail. And I was like, nope. And I go upstairs holding this phone still on. And I'm like, professor. And the moment he sees the number, my phone dies from full charge. Wouldn't turn on again. I was like, you are walking me out of this building now. And he was like, I'm leaving with you. So
yeah, you don't want to take that home with you.
No.
No. I love the look on Daniel's face right now.
I don't even know what to do with that. That's the start of a book.
Oh,
That's your next book. Like, holy cow. No, no, I'll mess with that.
See, you need to
Sage
send that
that.
story into me or any stories at my other podcast, Eerie Travels. We take listener tales. You
Exactly.
should send in some stories.
okay.
We love reading listener tales. But okay, what about what is a weird food combination that you like?
Flaming hot Cheetos and cream cheese. It's so good.
Back up. What? Do you dip it? Like, what do you do? Wait a minute.
Yeah, you take the Cheeto and you just kind of like scrape up a little bit of the cream cheese, and the cream cheese, you know, you still get to taste all of the spice, but the cream cheese also like dulls it down right away so that you can eat twice as many flaming hot Cheetos in one sitting.
I learned on a documentary, what was I watching? I learned on a documentary that somebody, the Frito factory was not doing well. So they literally asked their employees for ideas, and a janitor came up with, like, went to his house and made flaming hot Cheetos and brought them in because there was no snack food for the Latin community made by Frito. And they gave him part of the profits from it. He's like a bazillionaire now because he came up with the idea of flaming hot Cheetos.
Flaming hot Cheetos are so good, with or without cream cheese, but they're better with cream cheese.
Danielle, have you recovered from this yet?
Between the ghost story and the flaming hot Cheetos, this is a lot for me. But
Okay, I'll
good.
ask the
Like,
next
it was
question, let you reset. It's fine. If you could be any paranormal, mythical, fantastical creature, what would you be?
I'd be a resident of Atlantis.
Oh, why?
Because I want to live in a society that's so advanced and so like ballsy that we challenged the gods and then ended up living in a bubble under the ocean. I think that'd be really cool.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
You recovered, my friend?
Yes, I'm good. Okay. Oh, what was that?
My dog found us. So my dog does the
Squeaky
most
toy.
ridiculous. One of my dogs. I have two now. He's a puppy, but when he has a squeak toy, he rams his nose into the squeak toy. He doesn't pick it up and bite it and squeak it. He literally walks up and is like until it squeaks. And so he was walking around and he has these little carrots that go to a toy, but only a couple of them actually have squeakers. So I just literally out of the corner of my eye watched him go squeak, and then walked away from it like I have accomplished what I intend to do.
I'm done.
I'm walking away. Right, Garrus?
Thank you.
He's like,
I have a puppy too. I get it.
animals are ridiculous and I love them. Okay,
Okay.
Danielle, sorry, over to you.
That's okay. Okay, you're going to run into one of these three creatures and prove that they're real. Which one do you choose and why? Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, or an alien?
Loch Ness Monster.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
like
saying that was the correct answer to get your episode aired with Danielle.
And why do you choose Nessie? I'm just wondering.
I choose the Loch Ness Monster mostly because of Scotland being awesome, but second of all, because when I was younger, the Water Force movie came out, and that movie was so good. And now I'm like, Nessie is maybe an alien and also maybe an ancient dinosaur, and nobody's ever found she's got magic powers, obviously. So I want to be the one to find Nessie and be like, hey.
I love that. For the record, by the way, Danielle, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I am actually a lady in both Scotland and Ireland now because a friend bought property for me in both places. So I literally have the lady title.
That's so cool.
In both places. I'm a lady in Scotland and a lady in Ireland.
Oh my God, I wanted to do that so badly. So if you go to Scotland, then there's a better chance that Nessie's going to show up because now you're a lady, you're royalty.
I will go. I'm going to Scotland and Ireland later this year. I will see if I can go up, and I will see if I can entice Nessie to come not eat me. So that will be my goal. But I am going to go to both of these places that I have property. I'm bringing a flag and just like, boom, I have to take my flag with me. It's actually a really neat concept that they do this to save parts of the forests and lands and stuff, because what they do is they buy the property, and then as you buy pieces, they register you as a landholder, even if it's like one of the plots is a foot, the other one is like 10 feet by 10 feet, but they can't develop the land because 1 acre could belong to 1,000 people.
Yep.
So they're unable to develop in these areas, which is really, I think, a wonderful, very clever way to save, parts of nature, is to go, it's really cool. You have to get these 10,000 people to agree if you want this piece of land, which would never
go talk to
happen.
Lady Erica.
Yes, my thing is going to be vetoing him, but he made me, we're flying over there, and he went on my airline because he was helping me with my friend that did this, and he changed it so that it says Lady Erica on my plane ticket. So
I love that.
Fun. That's fun. It's probably going to be a weird conversation in customs, but who cares? Let's do this. Okay. So if you could travel anywhere, where would you travel? If you could just instantly choose to go somewhere, where would you go?
I have a garden tour planned of Europe. So it starts at the Chelsea Flower Show and then goes through a bunch of English gardens and then through Italian gardens and then through French gardens of various sorts. Like the French has a lavender field. I just want to go and see giant sweeping rows of lavender. And there's a restaurant that has 2 Michelin stars that is also a farm. And they literally pull the food off of the vine and cook it right there. Like it's 10 feet from where it was when they make it. And I'm like, I want to go there. I want to go and see the outdoor ballroom at Versailles. I want to go and see the castle gardens in Spain. All of those are supposed to be gorgeous. So I've got a garden tour planned of Europe, and I just want to kind of wander around.
I like it. What was my next question? That was okay. Danielle, that's some vodka joining me for a moment.
That's fine. What author do you think has influenced you the most, whether it's style or, just a writing period, whatever, process? Are they another plotter or a pantser? What author has influenced you the most?
I write most similarly to Tad Williams, and I love the way that he sets up settings. So he's one of the ones that I've tried to emulate, but the one that's had the most impact on my career and on me as a person is actually Mercedes Lackey, who basically, she took my book, the one that's coming out, City of Day, from outline to published, and has given me a cover blurb. And I would say she was a mentor figure. I don't know if she would also say she was a mentor figure. We emailed once every 6 months, but
Hey, that counts. If you
Yeah.
could have lunch with any author, living or dead, who would you choose?
I would choose, oh gosh, this one's a hard one. I think I would choose Oscar Wilde.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I wanna meet not just Oscar Wilde, wrote some really interesting books, but I want to meet a gay author from a different time period. And like, I think that'd be really fascinating to sit down with him and be like, this is what it's like now. And have him be like, well, this is what it was like then.
It would be a very interesting tale. What do you think you're fantastic at as a writer? Like, what do you think you're hands down, you're very proud of what you do? And this isn't ego, but like, what do you think you do really well?
I think I do really well with setup, like first pages. I think I'm getting even better at it every time too, but I really nail pulling a reader in. First sentences, first couple paragraphs, first 16 lines. I'm confident that I can get most people to turn the page.
Very cool. What do you think you're not good at?
I always thought I was really bad at character arcs. Like, I feel like I have to put a lot more work into getting a character from point A to point B. Apparently other people think I'm good at it. So the struggle to get that arc written out works, I guess.
Very cool. What about what is a genre that you haven't written in yet that you want to?
Does video games count?
Yeah.
I want to write for video games. I think that'd be awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, I want to script a video game. I want to have an NPC quest line.
Do you finish books when you start them regardless?
Yes, 98% of the time.
Okay. What will make you not?
Usually if I set the book down for a couple of weeks, I just forget. Like if I set it down and I've forgotten where I was in it and I don't know what's happening anymore, I won't finish that book. I'll either restart it or not, but it goes back on the to be read shelf and I pick something else that catches my fancy for a little while.
Okay. What about reviews? Do you write reviews all the time?
I do write reviews. I've most recently wrote a review for my friend FT Lukens, who just put out, well, it's not out yet. I got the advanced reader copy of a book called Spellbound. It's an urban fantasy with queer main characters, and it was so good. So I just posted that one a couple days ago.
Will you post even if it's not a good review?
Yes, I have posted negative or middling reviews before.
Very cool. Do you try to reach out to the authors ever to go, hey, fun story about your book?
No, I have not reached out to authors about that, like face to face. I let the ones that I do advanced reader copies for, I let them know that I left a review, but that's about it.
Very cool.
Are you a hard reviewer? I'm sorry, Erica.
Yeah, no, go ahead. No,
Like,
please jump in.
Am I tough on books?
Are you tough on books, or do you try to look at it as, if you're just reading for fun, it's like, do you try to go, okay, well, this was good, this was good, this was good. So it's a 3-star review. Like,
I try and do a little bit of both. Like, there's always something in a book that was okay or good. So I will always be like, well, I liked this element, but here's all the problems. Or I'll be like, this was a fantastic book, and these are the top 3 reasons why. Or I'll be like, this book was kind of in the middle for me. This was great. This ruined it. So,
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I try to be nice-ish.
Have you autographed books before?
Yeah, it was terrible.
What was that like when you first autographed a book?
It still freaks me out to this day. Like, people bring up a book to me and I'm like, well, I didn't know. Don't give it to me. No, it's okay. I have pens on me now all the time, just in case. I've signed my book in a bookstore before. That was wild. Because it was just it was one of those things where it was on the shelf at a Barnes and Noble, but you have to like order my book. So somebody ordered my book and then didn't pick it up. And so I ended up on the shelf and I was like, ooh, I can sign it.
Did you do you have little phrases that you put in your books?
Every now and again I do. For the book that I wrote with David Brin, the YA sci-fi, I usually put like have fun in space because the main character goes to outer space and then comes back. And you know, something like that. Or this
I think they're important. I think as authors, you got to have them in your back pocket, because just signing a book is not the same as throwing in a little, you know, tagline, personalizing it a little bit, but you should have set up taglines, because you can't personalize 100 different copies with 100 different taglines.
Yeah. And I'm like, I practiced my signature. I did not practice taglines, and I was not prepared to start putting them in there. I think for this next book, I'm going to work on that a little bit more.
I would come up with a couple taglines, maybe 2 or 3, and especially if you're doing the series, that you can throw in the book at any moment in time. You could be like, here's my hashtags, there you go. So it's going to be exciting when you have that book in your hand. So the first time you got the book with David Brin in your hand, what was that like?
It was so cool. I grew up reading the Animorphs, and the cover for Storm's Eye, which is the title of the book that I wrote with David Brin, looks like an Animorphs book. And it was so, like, I was like, ooh, I made up this alien, the perfect pachyderm is what I called it. It was a combination elephant, hippo, rhino. And they put the alien on the cover. And it looked just like I pictured it. I was like, this is so cool. And like, I made up weird colors for this world, and they put those weird colors in, and I was like, this is what I wrote. And they literally brought it to life, and it was really neat.
That's cool.
That's very neat when that happens. I 1000% agree. Okay, what's your favorite clothes to wear when you're writing?
Pajamas. I wear like a t-shirt and a sweater over that, because I write in a basement. It's a little chilly down here all the time, so I always have a sweater. And then
it's a very bright basement. If you're in that basement right now, it is very. No one would think you were in a basement. It is very brightly colored.
Yeah, it's a really nice basement. It's just a little chilly. And I do have like a really big window in there. Like it's like double wide window with a double wide deep bay. Oh, it's lets in plenty of light. So it's not like I'm in a scary basement. But yeah, I wear sweatpants, and I have a pair of fluffy unicorn slippers, and I wear those every time I write.
I'm a big fan of the PJs and the slippers. I feel like that is my comfort zone on clothing. It's true with just life though. I wear PJ pants all the time. My boyfriend makes fun of me because the amount of PJ pants, the amount of jeans I have, very different ratio.
I have 2 pairs of jeans, just 2, and I have like a dozen pairs of pastel colored sweatpants. So
I love that. I think that's brilliant. Okay. What is my next question? Danielle, what is your next question?
Is there a period that you'd like to write? Like, you know, do you want to take on the 20s or the 50s? Is there just a period that you haven't tackled that you think you'd like to write in?
Yeah, I think I'd like to write the turn of the century, like 1890 to 1910 was such an interesting 20 years. I think that one would be really fun to write a story in. I've written in the Italian Renaissance before, with my short story Jaculpo, and I wouldn't mind going back there because that's another one that I have a lot of fun in. So,
do you go down a research super highway? Do you over research?
For historic stuff, yes, I definitely over researched the Leonardo da Vinci story. Like, it was like a really short story, and I spent 3 days doing research. And it was like 500 words, like, or 5,000 words. I was like, it's really tiny, and I spent a lot of time looking stuff up. It's very historically accurate, actually. I took very few liberties, but for the rest of my books, I typically don't do a whole lot of research because I write fantasy. So I can make it up half the time if I have to. Every now and again, like, I look up different words. That's mostly what I do.
What about world building? How are you keeping track of your world?
I have different notebooks, and I've got, like, I'll write down in the notebook. Each one has its own little section, and I'll put like little pull tabs. I think I have the pull tabs right here. Oh no, I've got the sticky notes, but but like I put these little pull tabs so that I can just flip to that area really quickly. And So I just mark it all down in a notebook and keep it there. There's one series that I have that I'm working on the outlines for that has its own entire notebook because it is a 12-book series.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's a series right there. This trilogy that you're doing. Do you see I brought that back, Danielle?
Yes, I like that. I like
You like the
callback.
full circle, bring
The
it back.
callback. Yep.
Yeah, I like
golf
that.
clap.
What about your favorite dessert?
So Olive Garden used to have those tiramisu shots with the amaretto soaked lady fingers, and then they stopped carrying them. So I learned how to make it, and that is my favorite dessert.
Well, it's not good when you learn how to make some of these desserts.
It's terrible for me. The only thing that keeps me from making it all the time is the fact that making tiramisu is actually kind of difficult, and amaretto is expensive.
No, trust me, what I'm gonna get for my birthday, because I watch way too much Great British Baking Show. I love that show. It is the most relaxing thing in the entire universe to me, because British people are so nice to each other on that show. Like, even when they're in a bad spot, they're like so pleasant that, like, unlike a lot of American baking shows where like, this was terrible, flip the thing, where they're like, this is a bit stodgy.
And we got the English accent.
Yeah, it's a bit stodgy. I had to look up what stodgy meant, by the way, because I didn't know what stodgy meant. And I knew what a soggy bottom was, but I didn't know what stodgy meant. And so I'm making macarons because I absolutely freaking love macarons. They're terribly difficult, but this is my little birthday thing to myself. I'm going to figure out how to make macarons. I think everybody should learn how to make things. I learned how to make the Olive Garden Alfredo sauce, actually. It has a ridiculous amount of cream cheese in it, and people don't realize, like, that's the thing. But when you realize how much is in it, like, when you're making it, your arteries are hardening. Like, you can feel them hardening before you even put the Alfredo sauce in your face, because it's a lot of cream cheese.
I learned how to bake a 4-layer berry tart with handmade whipped cream from a Pride and Prejudice cookbook. That was fun.
Wow.
Oh.
And it's pretty. Wow. It's like a showstopper. It's my show off cake.
You're like, I like you. Let me show you something.
But I only do it once.
Yeah. Do you make desserts, Danielle?
I've done cannolis, and I do a good cheesecake that I have to make for my dad every holiday. Like, that's the only thing. He's like, oh, you coming over? You bringing a cheesecake, right? That's all I do. After that, I got nothing.
No, I bought a mixer so I'm telling you, I'm not sure how this will end result. I will keep the listeners updated on my macaron progress once I start making them, because they're really hard to make without you, because they got to be chewy but crispy. Do you see my little crispy gesture?
Yeah, I like that.
You gotta have the right fillings, and I'm super. Yep. There's a jet. Yep. When we meet each other, I'll be like, let me tell you about how my macarons have been going.
That's how we'll know if they were good or bad. Yeah, I always see them on the baking shows. They're always like, I always see them on the baking shows, the macarons. Like, that's always a challenge. Like, on holiday bake-offs.
Incredibly hard to make. Chelsea, our friend, was working on making them, but they crack like cheesecakes. Like, if you make cheesecake, the one thing you have to be so careful of is it cracking, which sounds ridiculous for a cheesecake, that a cheesecake could crack, but they'll crack.
It'll make like a bubble like this.
Yeah.
And that bubble will collapse in the moment you touch it. So it makes like the hard shell, and it looks perfect, but there has to be all this like webbing inside of the rest of the dough rising with it. Otherwise it breaks. And if you let it sit too long before you put it in the oven, or you mix it for the wrong amount of time or whatever, it will do that.
I got to open the oven, and then I got to take damp towels and lay them over the open oven.
There you go.
That's a good way to do that for the cheesecake.
15 minutes. That's what I do for the cheesecake. Last 15 minutes. Turn the oven off, and then you lay them over.
That's a good. Okay.
That's my little trick. That's all I got.
Look at us baking things and stuff. We're more than just authors. We fucking bake shit. So
and cosplay. You see?
We cosplay. Look at multi-talented humans on the show. We drink and know things. Drink and know things. Okay. Danielle, ask the final question.
Oh, you're giving that to me? After all the baking? Okay. all
I
right.
just brought up the macarons and I said it correctly. So
Macarons. Oh, that was very good. October, do you have one hidden talent that maybe nobody knows about that you'd now like to share with all of us since you've been drinking? Maybe we'll get it out of you.
I'm a watercolor artist,
Oh,
but I don't share my watercolors in.
would you ever think though maybe about putting it like on a chapter heading or something?
I've considered putting it on like bookmarks and selling some bookmarks,
That's
but
cool.
I haven't done that yet.
very cool. Look at multi talented humans here. I appreciate that. Okay, shameless self-promotion time, October. Tell people about books and where to find you.
Awesome. I'm October K Santerelli, and you can find me online at octoberksanterelli.com, where I have a catalog for all of my current published works. You can also find me on TikTok at OKWrites, WRITES, and you can find me on Instagram at O_K_Writes, WRITES.
Very, very cool. It was so
Yay.
amazing having you on the show.
Thanks for having me. This was fun. This
Absolutely.
rapid fire was not as scary as I thought it would be.
It's not scary. And honestly, I don't do a good job of remembering what I'm saying most of the time. So it does help the whole rapid fire thing that Bill Fawcett, I always say this, was the one that was like, go faster, go. And I was like, I'm drunk. I don't know. He was sober. And I'm like, I don't know what words. So it was bad. But other than that, I think it's mostly harmless, So guys, this has been Drinking with Authors, the Literary Briefs edition. I've been your host, Erica Lance. My co-host has been the fantastic Danielle Orsino. Don't forget to like, subscribe, review, leave comments. We love it all. And we'll see you guys next time.